You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 248. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
I'm Jeff Barnard, a man who believes professional wrestling is real.
Comic Reflections is brought to you by The Outhouse. You can find our show and other nifty content at theouthousers.com. And if you enjoy this program, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher. So, Jeff, you and I are going to talk about a couple of Batman comics today.
Yeah.
Some Silver Age treats. Oh, you're heavy sighing. Does that denote that you did not enjoy these?
Well, I always enjoy a comic book, no matter how bad it is. But I did sigh a lot and groan. And okay.
Yeah.
I just feel sorry for the poor kid who spent his allowance money saying, I've got a Batman comic book, and he gets these. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's not my favorite period for Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But
or anybody else's.
Well, I know it's somebody's. But anyway, let's talk about this. The first book we're going to talk about is Detective Comics number 355, cover dated September of 1966. And the lead story is called Hate of the Hooded Hangman, written by John Broome, penciled by Carmine Infantino, and inked by Joe Giella.
Yeah, well, they like the alliteration, don't they? Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, this is 1966. The Batman TV show is going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's Batmania.
Yeah.
Both of the issues we're going to talk about are during this time. So.
Yeah, and it has none of the fun of the TV show, which I adore. But the TV show,
Right.
No, yeah, okay. Batman and Robin, as Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson, are watching professional wrestling. And you know this is a comic book because both of them believe that professional wrestling is real. No college-educated person thought this. So
Right.
Right when it started, professional wrestling was the first big-time TV sport because it's easy to tape a professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And it's cheap, too, because professional wrestlers don't get paid much, even today.
Really?
Yeah. It's a dangerous sport, or exhibition, or whatever they call it.
Yeah. I don't know. So, yeah, they're at the arena. They're not just watching on television.
Right.
And the match that they're watching is between the Hangman and
the Apache.
And the crowd says all the Apache is a I don't know if he is a Native American, but he's definitely dressed like one.
Yeah.
But the crowd are like saying things like "No smoke 'em peace pipe tonight, Apache, get him!"
Yeah.
Because everybody hates the Hangman.
Right.
We
don't know why, they just
right.
do.
They're like, "Go on the warpath, Apache."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And wow, that's offensive. But yeah, and everybody hates the Hangman, and nobody knows his identity. Mm-hmm. And the whole deal is if somebody beats him, then they win the right to unmask him, but nobody's beat him.
Back in North Carolina, when they used to have regional wrestling, we had Wahoo McDaniel, who was actually a Native American, and a friend of mine went to see them, and he was something like, it's not Cub Scouts, but it was, I don't know, it was some kind of, they were like a Native American little group. They pretend to be Native Americans or whatever or something.
Okay.
But they went there and they saw him. They went, woo, and he went crazy and was dancing for them. It was really one of my friend's favorite childhood memories.
Oh, man.
It was great. Yeah, he didn't learn much. Supposedly these outings are you're supposed to learn something about woodcraft or something like that.
Right.
But one of the fathers took them to a professional wrestling match.
Okay.
All right. But, all right. The Arizona Apache loses. Everyone's disappointed. All the crime in Gotham has been solved, so Batman and Robin decide to find out who the Hangman is. I don't know. They don't have a good reason to find out who he is. I mean, he's a evil wrestler guy. Who cares?
Yeah, he's a heel. He's not committed any crimes.
Yeah, and people are wondering, and so what? Is the Joker escape from Arkham, or there's nothing going on?
Arkham Asylum hasn't even been as a concept hasn't been introduced in 1966, but
there is a similarly porous jail where he escapes from.
Good point. But yeah, it is weird that they would even care.
Mm-hmm. Although, man, cool cars. Okay, that's some of the, and I do like the Batmobile, which similar to the TV show Batmobile, but different. But it's at least interesting. Not like the one with the big bat mask on the front.
You hate that, don't you?
Oh, it's so stupid. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, Robin has to stay home and do his homework. Batman goes around. On patrol. There is a robbery bell alarm going off, and he comes, and here comes the Hangman running away. Batman tries to stop him. They fight. The Hangman wins, and he's about to take off Batman's mask, and sirens come, and the Hangman runs away.
Right. Now, Batman thinks the Hangman was involved in the robbery, but we don't have any conclusive proof of that.
Yeah. I love this ad. Get hip to old folks.
Yeah, this is a PSA that DC put out, and let's actually talk about this for a second. Jack Schiff wrote the copy for this, and Sheldon Moldoff did the art. But yeah, what a weird campaign.
Yeah. Don't just kill old people. Admire them, or something. I don't know. It's just pathetic and useless.
Let's talk for a second. These kids are like, hey, there's old man Green. I wonder what he does all the time. And then they go out, and they're all excited to go to camp. And then they go to camp, and he teaches them about geology and nature and stuff. And they're like...
We thought he was just good for a rocking chair. Okay. But wow. Old man Green, he shows them cool stuff about ducks and rocks, and they like him now. Yay, old people can be fun.
Well,
Yeah, we do have a very anti-old society.
Yeah, I mean, I like this. This is a nice sentiment.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, and it's really sad that I think especially in the U.S. we don't venerate our elders. We're like, what do you know?
Yeah. Oh, she's somebody's mother or something like that. Or he's old, and everyone tries not to be old. And
I feel like this is something that's come about from our the post-World War II military-industrial complex consumer society built, designed obsolescence, consumer-driven. And I think that has had an impact on the culture and how we treat people as well.
Well, it's partially the nuclear family, and there's no extended families, and you don't live with your grandma or grandpa anymore. This used to be the norm, even up to the 50s and 60s, and now it's the only people living with the parents is the 30-year-old son who's a college graduate, right?
Right.
But people have been wanting to look young and act young since Caesar's time. So it's not just an American phenomenon. I think it's worldwide, or any industrialized nation. I'm not sure why. And there's also a cool Agent Zero M weapons spy toys. I would love this.
Yeah, and I think I may have seen some television commercial for these. There's a video camera that telescopes out, and it's really a gun or something, or a switchblade knife that turns into a gun. And of course, it's one of those great ads that's done in comic book form, but clearly by artists who have never worked in the comics medium.
Yeah, or just starting out or something.
Yeah.
It looks very European for some reason.
I didn't really pick up on that, but
I don't know, the very simple drawing sometimes, and I don't know, it's something like that. I'm probably wrong. So,
but anyway, back to Batman.
It's usually cool to see superheroes not being superheroes and and drinking a cup of coffee and reading the paper, but it's deadly dull here.
Yeah, I think Bruce Wayne at home is boring.
Yeah.
I'll always am like, get back to investigating
Unless it's
something.
Alfred there being a smartass.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
But that's more recent. So.
John Cleese would have been a great Alfred.
Ooh, yeah. Huh. Yeah, Michael Caine does it well, though. He's great.
Yeah.
Actually, the original Alfred in the TV show I liked, too. He had a decent wit.
I liked him, yeah.
Yeah. And Harriet, I don't know. I understand why she's there, but they didn't want a sausage fest on TV, and I understand. And she was amusing sometimes, but yeah. Okay. Batman, without Robin again, goes off on patrol, hears someone calling for help, and it's a hangman. And another fight ensues, and Batman gets his butt kicked. Oh, no. Batman kind of wins. The guy gets away.
It's a bit of a draw.
Yeah.
Again, no crime has been committed.
Yeah. The crime at the beginning was done by somebody else.
Yeah.
And nothing happened here.
Yeah. And it was really weird. In the other one, it's like, didn't come across like Hangman was trying to solve the crime or was a participant in it. So it's just an odd kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And Hangman has a cape and he has a mask. No, he doesn't have a cape. I thought he did. Okay.
He might have when he's entering the ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just shirtless and he has the hood and gloves.
Yeah. So he is noticeable.
Yeah. And he's like a foot taller than Batman.
Mm-hmm. He's buff too.
Yeah, he's very brawny. Mm-hmm. So Batman, Dick, and Bruce are watching television and thinking about who could the Hangman be.
Yeah, and then
the voice seemed really familiar.
Yeah, and then they look, and the guy giving the news sounds exactly like the Hangman.
And they also notice he has a bruise on his cheek, like from when he got punched by Batman. But also, they do put on makeup in television. You think they would cover up a bruise?
Oh, they do say that it's been treated, but you can still see it.
Oh, okay.
This is before HD. It really showed how bad makeup could be. So.
Sure.
Okay. What I thought about this was this something about Superman being on WGBS?
Well, this precedes that.
Does it?
By like 5 years. This is 1966, and that came about in like 71 or 2.
Did they get this idea from it then? But it's an awful idea to be in front of people in your TV sets and then be somebody else. It's just impossible.
Well, yeah, it's a bad idea to be a superhero or super villain and then you're also a TV personality.
Right.
Jack Ryder, who the Creeper, also a TV guy. I think you can kind of get away with that because the Creeper is so drastically different.
Right. But Superman, he just combs his hair, that's and takes off his glasses,
So, but yeah. So no.
Okay. Oh, I thought it was earlier that he became. So okay.
No, but I mean, it was an interesting point to bring up, though. So it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it is stupid. Batman and Robin. Hey, we know this guy.
Yeah, like, wow, it doesn't take the world's greatest detective to figure this out.
Mm-hmm. I do think that anchors did do stuff like SCTV. Count Floyd is Floyd Patterson, or
I think so. Yeah, something like that.
He's the anchor, and he does Count Floyd. The character does both.
Right. Oh, and here in Portland, Oregon, there was a guy, something Ives, who was a TV horror host, but he was a regular TV personality as well.
So it happens, and maybe that's kind of on this. So why not make him a villain? That's interesting. But in the real life examples, no one cares.
Right.
They're just talent, and they can do this. And you're gonna be this anchor man. You gotta do the kiddie show at 11 o'clock. And yeah, okay. Well, the guy's not too bright.
Right.
Tillman Davies. Okay.
I kind of like the name.
Yeah. I didn't even write it down or even remember it until I looked right now. Yeah. Tell man. Like an anchor man. Tells men. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So Batman goes to the professional wrestling arena. There's a hangman, and they get together and whisper that they're going to have a fight
On the roof.
Why on the roof and not in the arena?
Because it looks cooler. Because when you look at these panels, you get to see the moon behind it, the cityscape, and it looks cooler than just going to a wrestling.
The cityscape does look wonderful.
Yeah.
And okay, so they fight again, and Hangman wins again, and he takes off his mask,
Batman's mask,
and it's Tillman Davies,
which is crazy.
Yeah.
So by the way, people who were watching the wrestling matches like go up and they're trying to watch also.
Yeah. And people are watching it for free.
So, but anyway, that totally disorients and confuses the Hangman, who we know is Tillman Davies, and it gives Batman a chance to basically sucker punch him.
Right.
And then Batman unmasks him, and it's Tillman Davies, and the people are very confused.
Yeah. Tillman Davies again? Who's who?
Yeah. So Batman tells later tells Commissioner Gordon that he made himself up to look like Davies and blah blah blah, but he didn't do anything. I guess it ruined his career in television. Why? I don't.
Actually, it shouldn't make. Oh, back then, Anchorman's supposed to be really well respected and not being still doing silly stuff like this. But
sure.
Maybe, I don't know. Well, he lied about. Well, he tried to beat up Batman. I'd be ticked off. So,
I guess
you're out of here.
Yeah. And so then there's a couple of panels of him just being pissed off and leaving the country.
Yeah, he wanted to be the real reason he did this, he wanted to be the main masked man in Gotham. Oh, really? What a glorious dream.
Yeah. No, it's super weird, and it this plot does not stand up to much scrutiny.
Yeah. All right, someone said, "Hey, I want Batman and against the professional wrestler." Okay, see what you can do. So, how about this? It'll do.
Yeah, I do like the look of the Hangman.
Yeah,
it's a simple costume, but the hood and the bare-chested look.
It's a cool purpley color and this.
Yeah,
very nice. Yeah. And he gives Batman a run for the money.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good. Better than the Riddler does. I love the Riddler, but he's no pugilist.
There is that. Mm-hmm. Although when you see the Riddler, especially there's an advertisement in one of these that shows him, he does look actually pretty chiseled.
Yeah.
For a guy who pretty much gets taken out with one punch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every time. Mm-hmm. So we have a backup story. The elongated man.
Yeah.
Okay. This story is called The Tantalizing Troubles of the Tripod Thieves.
Alliteration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man. This was written by Gardner Fox, penciled and inked by Carmine Infantino. And you don't see Carmine ink his own stuff that much.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is best for the best.
Yeah.
His stuff, when he inks his own stuff, it's really loose and scratchy. Mm-hmm. You really see what other inkers really bring to the table when he's just penciling it.
Okay. All right. We got these two crooks. They're stealing pearls from a jewelry store. And they come out and they're whisked into the air and they have no idea why. Elongated man sees them and he grabs them and he's fighting some kind of force. And the thieves are actually happy to see him. I've never been happy to see a crime fighter before.
Right. Because they don't know what's happening to them.
So they drop the pearls. They suddenly fly down and bash the crap out of Elongated Man. And then they go back up. and he gets mad at them, and they say, "We didn't do it. We didn't do it." The other force is actually doing this. He knocks their heads together, or no, he just punches them, I guess. Or what? Okay, it's hard to see what the hell is going on there.
Fighting is happening.
Yeah, fighting is happening. So
Okay.
he takes one guy and throws his head against a brick wall. The other guy's knocked out. There's two crooks.
Yeah.
The other guy is unconscious and slugs him. Elongated man.
Yeah.
Elongated man is knocked out a little bit. He gets up. He sees that the pearls are there and they're glowing with magic residue, I guess. So he follows them into an antique store where we see the leggy magician Zatanna.
Yeah. I love Zatanna.
And she's not great here, but she has some spark to it.
Yeah.
She's the best thing about this comic.
This is one of her earliest appearances.
Mm-hmm.
Like third or fourth appearance, I think.
Yeah. She's asking the two guys about the tripod. And they tell her the tripod's worthless. We took it's just gold-plated, and it's iron beneath. She says it's gold-plated with the iron-plated, and it's gold underneath that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So then,
one of the bad guys who looks just like Peter Lorre,
right.
which I like that.
Mm-hmm. He does look evil. So he says he gets a gun on her, and she tries to do magic, and she cannot. We find out why later. Elongated man is listening to all this. He comes in, he knocks the gun out. He goes to fight the two crooks. Zatanna goes against the store owner. I don't know what. We don't find out his name, I don't think.
It's really not.
Yeah,
It's not
who
relevant.
cares, right?
Yeah.
So she does judo, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And they try to kill, the two crooks try to kill Elongated man with a casket, and he throws a casket against them. And then she figures out that the store owner has an I Ching, I'm not sure. I Ching, a book, and which negates her magic. I ought to get one of those.
Yeah, I thought that was really weird. Like, why would just having a book negate someone's magic powers? It's not like they cast a spell to negate it, or there was like a... Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's some kind of, and it's black magic, which is kind of not what I Ching is. It's sort of, I don't know.
I don't really know what it is at all.
So she takes care of the rest of the crooks and all that stuff. So she goes to find her father, who's lost in the mysterious realm that we can't go to. Elongated man goes back, meets his girlfriend.
His wife.
Is it wife?
Yeah.
Okay. And he was buying her presents. I figured he was a girl. She was a girlfriend. and and he buys a string of pearls that was stolen, and he paid for. And that shuts her up. So she was going to complain about him being late.
Oh, okay. So I want to talk a little bit about the elongated man as a concept. He's married to this heiress, and so they just kind of, they're like Macmillan and wife.
Oh, I used to watch that all the time.
Or what was that show in the 70s? Is that what I'm thinking of? Where like the
Rock Hudson, and
what's where the rich people solve crimes?
no, I think that's the wrong one.
There's another one.
Oh,
Heart to Heart.
oh, God, I hate it. I hated the butler or whatever. Hey, boss. God, I hated him.
Okay, but I'm just
But,
saying it's kind of like that,
yeah.
although this predates that. But they're not quite jet setters. Mm-hmm. His identity is public. He's one of, if not the first superhero to not have a secret identity. Really,
They say he is the first, but
okay.
I think that's kind of
I'm fuzzy on the timeline because
Yeah.
he debuted in 1960, and I don't think his identity was public in his first appearance.
Yeah.
And then the Fantastic Four came in 61, late 61. So I'll say elongated man because I don't know for sure, but
that's an interesting question.
and the thing that he drinks to give himself the stretching power.
Gingold.
I've always said Gingold, but then I've been hearing people say it Gingold.
Huh. Is that like it sounds like a beer. I mean, a real beer brand. That's very similar to that.
I don't know.
But,
Wouldn't that be hilarious if there was someone who got their powers from getting drunk?
Yeah. Actually, Drunken Master.
But that's just like a kung fu thing.
Yeah, but he gets super kung fu powers.
Okay.
I don't. Kung fu powers, as in the movies, are superpowers.
Okay.
I mean,
no, I understand.
literally.
Like, you watch stuff like Master of the Flying Guillotine or the 5 Deadly Venoms. That's super amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so one other thing, and then
Okay.
I totally forgot it. So why don't we take
We do not see the tripod. I wanted to see what the tripod looked like. And,
okay.
And it's named, but they don't ever show it.
Yeah.
Boo.
Right.
Yeah, it's lame. I mean, it's not the Batman story is better because it has Batman in it. I don't like elongated man. I think he's boring. We have a lot of stretchy guys who are a lot more interesting. Plastic Man, the best. Mr. Fantastic's pretty good. I like Mr. Fantastic. Jimmy Olsen's
Elastic Lad.
Elastic Lad is cool.
I like Metamorpho and the Metal Men. They all stretch.
Yeah, they're cool. Elastic Man is just dull. Like,
Elongated Man.
Elongated, whatever. Yeah, elongated man. There's something. You can have something good come from this, but it never does.
Okay.
And it's interesting. He's with a Harris who doesn't or how you pronounce
It's
it.
okay.
That could be interesting, dynamic, but it's not used well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and he never had his own book to really flesh out. He's always been a backup star or a guest star. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I don't know. They should at least try it once or something. Yeah. They do a good job, but they don't. And that's why he's second banana, and a rotten one at that.
Wow. I like him just fine, but whatever. So, before we talk about our next book, we're going to take a quick promotional break.
Warlord Worlds, a fan podcast devoted to the comic creations of Mike Grell, including Warlord, John Sable, Starslayer, Shaman's Tears, and Green Arrow. I'm Darren.
And I'm Ruth. We hope you'll join us as we discuss the stories, characters, and art in the many excellent comics from writer and artist Mike Grell.
Warlord Worlds is available at podbean.com and on iTunes and Stitcher.
Find us at warlordworlds.com.
I'm Mike Gillis.
And I'm Casey Dorn, and we want to ask you an important question.
Are you sick and tired of other panel discussion shows wasting your time droning on and on about foreign policy, economics, and human rights?
Or do you want to hear conversations about things that actually matter?
We host a podcast called Radio versus the Martians. Every month we gather a panel of our nation's finest minds and plunge a rusty prison shank into the heart of tough questions that have an impact on the lives of real people like you.
Like, are drivers required to pull over for the Ghostbusters?
Is the United Federation of Planets actually an oppressive dictatorship run by guidance counselors?
Is Arnold Schwarzenegger secretly a genius?
And are we being mean when we laugh at movies that are so bad they're good?
So write your congressman and let them know that Radio vs. the Martians is available on iTunes, Stitcher, and on radioversusthemartians.com.
Black Canary.
I'll need a sparring partner.
I'm Zatanna. Why do you care about some leggy dame in nylons? Or have I answered my own question? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for magic.
Black Canary and Zatanna, together in one podcast. I'm Ryan Daly, and I've got a thing for superheroes in fishnet stockings. That's why I started Power of Fishnets, the Black Canary and Zatanna podcast. Join me every 2 weeks as I celebrate the Blonde Bombshell and the Mistress of Magic in their exciting adventures published by DC Comics. Power of Fishnets, available on iTunes and at fireandwaterpodcast.com.
Kalabak, Tassad, it is I, Darkseid. I command you to listen to the Who's Who podcast. Uncover the powers and weaknesses of the Super Friends so that I may destroy them.
Aquaman and Superman, Animal Man and Plastic Man, Firestorm and Nuclear Man, Batman and Hawkman, 2D Man and Hour Man.
Who are all these people, man?
They're all part of the DC Who's Who. Ultra Boy and Booster Gold, Lightning Lass and Hippolyta, Phantom Stranger, Etrick and Arizia and Woozy Winks.
Hey.
What?
What about that one guy?
What guy?
Mr. Pretzel, Mr. Lipstick, Mr. Mitzelfuzzle?
Mr. Mitzi's Pitlick?
Yeah, him.
He's also part of the DC Who's Who.
Who's Who, the definitive podcast of the DC Universe.
Available monthly at Aquaman Shrine, Firestorm Fan, and on iTunes and Stitcher as part of the Fire and Water podcast.
With his army of evil on the march, Bird Degatron appears to have time on his side. But when duty calls, they answer, bringing the fight for freedom to the front lines. They are the mystery men and women known as the Justice Society of America.
Hey there, my name is Al Girding, and I have a favor to ask. If you're a fan of the Justice Society of America or other DC Comics heroes of the Golden Age, please listen to my new podcast, the All-Star Comics Review. Grab your reprints, DC Archive editions, or the original comics if you're lucky enough to own them, and let's explore the adventures of the JSA and other Golden Age greats. Follow along with the All-Star Comics Review podcast, now found on iTunes, allstarcomicsreview.blogspot.com, and Facebook.
So the next book we're going to talk about is Detective Comics number 360, cover dated February of 1967. And the lead story is called The Case of the Abbreviated Batman, written by Gardner Fox, penciled by Sheldon Moldoff, and inked by Joe Giella. Now, of course, it says Bob Kane, but they're ghosting for him. He didn't do anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He hadn't really done anything probably since the 30s, actually.
Wow.
Oh, no, that's not right, but 40 or so. Bob Kane got a sweet deal. He got to take credit and get paid for not doing very much.
Yeah. I read something. This is totally that's comic book related, but one of my favorite writers on the internet, James Lilacs, said Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. He said, well, everyone says that Jack Kirby and Ditko was wonderful and great, and they were ripped off by Stan Lee. But he says, look at Kirby's and Ditko's works without Stan Lee, and they're not as good. And I think that's an interesting argument. I'm not sure I agree with it.
I think it's less the things that they don't do with Stan Lee, but it's a very different editorial environment that they're working under in these other circumstances, and I think that does affect the storytelling. And so, because we have such high praise for the works with Kirby or Ditko with Stan Lee, it's an overwhelming bias.
Yeah,
because look, I can look at Kirby's 1950s stuff like Young Love or the Fighting American or the Channels of the Unknown, and that's wonderful stuff, and that's great. And I love the stuff that he did at DC in the 70s. Some of those things are kind of weird and wonky, but Commandy and Olmec and the Demon and most of the New God stuff is wonderful.
are they as wonderful as Fantastic Four and
I think
all
what
that?
it is, they're less marketable. They're less easily put on a lunchbox.
No. I don't care how if a comic book I like sells one copy, I don't care. I wish they saved more, sold more, and
But what I'm saying is a lot of merchandising tie-ins, that kind of paint skews the picture to make it look like, oh, well, this is much better. Even if it's something you're on an unconscious level.
That can happen. I don't think it's happening here. I was super disappointed. I was so excited to read Jack Kirby's Jimmy Olsen, and I was very disappointed. I like them better now, but it's not.
And I'll say
it's not the Marvel and Kirby.
Well, and I
not
think
as fun and cool. And
I do like it, but it's probably some of his weakest stuff at DC when he went back in the 70s. It's such a strange comic, which is fitting the legacy of Jimmy Olsen, but it's just a very different take.
But I don't know. When he's working with Stan Lee, and I'm not a big Stan Lee fan, and this statement really bowled me over, made me think of everything. You know, that I might be totally wrong. I thought Stan Lee was a villain, and was like Bob Kane, not really doing that much, but the Kirby Stan Lee collaborations are the best, and nothing comes close to them. Kirby and Ditko has done. I do like the other stuff, but it's not as good.
Yeah, a lot of Ditko's post-Marvel work is very self-indulgent and heavy-handed about his objectivist beliefs. And those beliefs really negatively affected his career because of what he would and wouldn't do, and whatever. As far as the Stan Lee thing, it has been said by a lot of people, like, Kirby's a great plot man, but a lot of his dialogue is comes across kind of stilted and not too happening. And Stan, I will give this to him, has a great knack for really fun dialogue. And that did set things apart from the other works without him that the two artists we're talking about have done.
At the very least, I appreciate Stan Lee now more than I did. So
I love the dialogue.
And the comics, as a whole, are better than the Lee Kirby and the Lee Ditko are better than any other Kirby or Ditko.
On the same token, the things written, or I'll just say dialogued, by Stan that Ditko and Kirby didn't do are not as interesting.
Yeah, okay.
So.
Just like the Beatles.
I don't...
Well, the Beatles separate are not as good as the Beatles together.
Yeah, but I think all of them have, like, cool solo stuff.
Yeah, but
it's
would you rather have I hold a gun to your head? You're going to listen to the Beatles or the people who are the individuals after they broke up? Which would you choose? And I think most people would choose the Beatles.
Yeah, oh no, and I'll definitely take like the latter half of the Beatles recording output, definitely. Rubber Soul or so on.
Actually, I like the earlier stuff. It's so, I don't know, because you don't hear it on the radio as much. I'm kind of burned out.
It's fun, but we've gotten onto a couple of big tangents. Let's talk about this Batman comic.
Oh, let's not say we did.
I've already given the credits for this story.
Yeah, and it doesn't include Bob Kane. Only in name. Yeah. All right, Batman is in court.
Crossing his legs like an old man.
Yeah. Okay. And he's bragging about his size macan, which picks up the sounds of explosions. Explosions, the silent menace. I mean, for crying out loud.
Like, you don't need a seismicon. You have ears. Oh, there was an explosion.
Yeah. Oh,
I think it was over there.
Or what is a seismic thing?
A seismograph?
Seismograph. Yeah, that'll do the same thing. Seismicon. Jeez.
But yeah, he's testifying against
Gun-shy Barton.
Gun-shy is a quote-unquote master criminal who hates guns.
Oh, man, what a loser of a criminal. He's got a horrible haircut.
Yeah.
And he just looks like a panty waist, like they would call it then. So, Batmobile, I don't remember having a dome, but it has a stupid mask in front.
Yeah.
But it's smaller this time.
Oh.
Okay. It looks like a go-kart I used to have.
That's
this
funny.
big man. All right.
So Batman is busting up on some criminals and stuff. It's Gunshy's gang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gunshy is definitely afraid of firearms.
Right.
And that's hence the name Gunshy.
Oh, so it's not like an ironic thing, like he's a real dead shot. Or...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm sure him and Punisher get along famously. All right. Gunshy is thinking about this, and he needs to think. Every time he gave a command to his boys, Batman would hear it and be prepared. So all the commands didn't work because Batman understood what he's talking about.
So this is told in flashback, by the way, because Batman's testifying against him and stuff. So Gunshy has been sent up the river, and while he's in prison, he comes up with this brilliant, actually dumbass plan.
Yeah. God. Yeah, oh, so true. He gets it from the court stenographer.
Yeah.
Because they use a abbreviated language, I guess.
On
I have no idea how it works. It's like shorthand, but it's not.
Yeah, it's a different kind of shorthand.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So he invents this thing, and for the first time ever, it's never been done before. Hold on, I gotta do some LSD PDQ. I hope the DA and the PD don't give me for a DWI. Okay.
So he gets ideas. The next time he pulls a job, he's gonna train all his men to fight Batman or whatever based on a bunch of abbreviations.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so a lot of times, and it's super elaborate and crazy.
Yeah.
But a lot of times these abbreviations, it takes longer to say.
HCB, then you could say Batman instead of HCB. Here comes Batman. Yeah.
Right. Batman's not going to know what they're saying. He's telling the guys to do, but they'll have to stop and think about. Oh yeah, it means this. So. Time is an important factor in trying to not get captured by Batman.
Syad, scatter in all directions. For crying out loud.
That's one that's really dumb because you can just say scatter and run away. Batman can only get one of you.
Yeah. Why doesn't he learn Navajo or something like that, or
Right.
something?
Although Batman probably knows Navajo.
Yeah, he's probably the only non-Navajo who knows Navajo.
Yeah.
So.
There is another PSA ad about peace on Earth, and it says peace on Earth in a whole bunch of languages.
Yeah, that's Vietnam's going on this. They actually have Vietnamese as well, but no Kryptonian. What gives?
Yeah, a little oversight on that.
Yeah.
But I like the sentiment. Hey, be nice and stuff or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a crime wave.
Right. Oh, yeah. Gunshy gets out of prison and implements his stupid plan.
SGTW, Sleep Gas and Watchman. NTAC, Net the Armored Car, which is, for crying out loud. I mean, if you're going to net an armored car, you've already planned it. And, you just don't say, hey, walking down the street, hey, NTAC, because I see one.
Well, right, and it's one thing to have a system of stuff to say, to do, if Batman or the cops show up. But, gas the watchman, there's a watchman. You've got the gas ready to get him. You don't need an abbreviation for that.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Oh, man. Batman, the seismicon is going haywire.
Who says that, Robin?
Yeah. An explosion of crime, Robin. Boo. Oh, my God. And I like a bad pun, but I don't like local news bad puns. I don't like bad Batman puns.
Well, it's the seismicon is supposed to detect explosions. There's no actual explosion. Puns don't happen don't affect computers,
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Oh.
Oh, my God, I didn't read this, or I forgot about it. Forward darts a powerful car, the Batcar, hurling down a concrete...
Car? What's it called? There we
Batmobile,
go.
excuse me. Okay. Oh.
Been reading comics long?
No. Hurling down a concrete ramp into the cellar of a medieval-type castle built by millionaire eccentric Travis Trent.
Who?
Yeah.
Do we need to know that?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Why is there a medieval type castle and it's not even used anymore?
Right.
And who cares? Couldn't it be a paper factory or something? It doesn't matter. So,
right.
Okay. But Gunshot says HCBAR. Here comes Batman and Robin. For crying out loud. Hey, it's Bats. And the other guy.
And here's the thing. If you're trying to keep Batman and Robin from knowing what you're doing, guess what? They see you.
Yeah.
They know you see them. Oh my goodness. The element of just surprise is ruined.
Yeah.
They drove down into the thing.
Mm-hmm. And it should have said, it's time for lunch or something like that. That has nothing to do with Batman and Robin.
The spotted cuckoo bird flies backwards. Like a code. Say one thing that means something else.
Yeah.
That's smarter. But...
Oh, God. TJ, try judo. Oh, it's easier to say judo.
Yeah, or
You're
just
right.
if you know judo, oh, hey, Batman's coming to punch me. Maybe I'll just take it and fall over. Oh, wait, maybe I'll try and fight back.
Yeah.
But what?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe try jujitsu. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, one of the hoods takes off Batman's glove.
Yeah, and he's really upset about it.
Because Batman broke a nail.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, that comes up later, too.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Batman slugs him and says, all's fair in love and jaw. What?
That is the worst non-pun that's trying to be one.
Yeah. I mean, I've done better.
So here's something. The next thing that Gunshot calls out is UTE. And so Batman says, a Ute is an Indian, but I have reservations about that meaning.
Oh, wow. God. Use the extinguisher. Yeah.
And so they hit him with fire extinguishers, which is also dumb.
Yeah, and I wasn't prepared for it. Yeah. Okay. And now it's NTNAR. Now to net a rum. My God, how many of these things? Couldn't it be just NTR, net the Robin, or something? Oh.
Well, it's if Batman's already down.
Yeah.
And he says throw the net. Clearly they mean it Robin.
Yeah.
Duh.
No, at me, dum-dum. Of course they're Robin. So, okay. And it's electrified, and so that's the end of that. So Barton comes out to the Batmobile. I won't ever live that down, will I? Nope. And the phone's ringing, and he talks to the commissioner and says, Batman will be right there. And he's going to be there, DOA. Nyuk, nyuk, nyuk.
Right. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't understand why Gunshot Barton didn't catch on as a major Bat villain.
I don't know, man. Man, he's gold. Here,
devious beyond all measure.
Action-packed. Action-packed Pee-wee. You remember that from the movie?
No.
No, they're watching Pee-wee's movie they made on his life, and one of the pros and cons says, it's action-packed, Pee-wee. I've always loved that. It's just a ridiculously dumb movie. But
yeah. So anyway, Barton and his henchmen, they roll up Batman and Robin in rugs.
Yeah.
Like a couple of dead hookers.
Yeah.
But,
oh, my God. CTU, cover them up. GG, get going. Oh, my God. OTTD, open the trunk doors. Oh, God. All right. So they go by and they leave the carpets at the police station. Good plan. So that have Batman and Robin in there.
Wow, that is really dumb.
God almighty.
Why wouldn't you throw him in the lake?
Yeah. Why don't you... You know, he doesn't believe in guns, but he believes in clubs or something, or knives. Beat the crap out of him. I would. You know, I like Batman and Robin myself, but if I was a criminal, I would want to see them dead.
Yeah.
Because
You're the
I
king
don't
of the
like-
underworld. You're the ones who bumped off Batman and Robin.
Yeah. I don't even want to tell anybody. It'd be a private satisfaction.
Okay.
So,
There's a nice shot of Robin kicking a guy in the... Oh, Batman kicking a guy in the... Oh, I thought it was a groin shot, but...
it could almost be, but we do get one later. So,
Okay.
in the next story.
But anyway, so they get out of the carpets they were rolled up in.
Yeah, and they surprise him. And they play Skrillex, so no one can hear anything what's going on. And Skrillex is this wacky, stupid music. How do you spell that?
It doesn't really
Yeah,
matter. But what's happening in the story? Your joke is kind of like not
okay.
letting
They are
clarity to
playing loud
whistles and stuff.
Yeah.
To disorient the henchmen so they can't hear Gunshy's commands.
Right.
So and it works. So Batman and Robin beat up the guys.
Yeah, they don't know what to do. But Gunshy was foresight enough to have these big letters on the side of the wall and light up, and a floor that he jumps around and hits, and makes the letters
light up like a keyboard almost, or buttons, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, so then you find this guy, then you gotta look at the wall. It says CEF. Catapult emergency fireballs.
Or you could have just done that without telling anybody. If he has the control panels to make the floor light up,
why don't you do it?
Yeah. You just didn't have a remote to just do that?
Well, remotes were kind of... So Batman sees how he did it, and he busts that caper. He turns it off. So Gunshy grabs out a gun. But it's not just a regular gun, it's a cream puff gun.
Yeah, because he hates guns, so of course he's a cream puff. But
and there's no such thing as a cream puff gun, I don't think. But but it's a tube that you squirt cream in a puff.
Right.
This looks like a gun. So what does he use? He uses he's got a laser weapon and it's brushes it away.
Yeah,
So.
wait, first of all, I want to make use of it. Batman had a laser in his utility belt.
Mm-hmm.
I want to come back to that.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Okay.
And that is... So, Gunshy points to his eyes and makes an S sound with his... S shape with his finger.
He says, I surrender.
Yeah.
Which, why couldn't he just say it? Did he become
Oh,
mute?
because he couldn't hear. No one can hear anything. Well, why don't he do the classic, I surrender, put my arms up. Isn't that...
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, sign language would have been a better idea than the stupid abbreviations.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Actually, SWAT teams and SEALs have a sign language. Very simple,
Yeah.
And but they don't have these stupid gizmos like fire catapults and all that
Yeah.
stuff. All right. Now,
So they've captured Gunshy and his gang, and then they're talking to Commissioner Gordon and explaining how they got out of the rugs.
yeah, the silk carpet covers. All right. Batman says, I broke a nail fighting the judo guy, and so I used my broken nail to get through the cover. And I
They said it was jagged enough to cut through them, which, no, there's no way in the world that would work.
I think the only thing, I have scratched myself with a cut nail, but that's about it. That and butter is about the only thing you can cut with a nail.
Yeah, but that's like trying to say you could, cut. No, that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And the fact that if he could get his arm up to scratch through and open up the cart, could it not? Is it not conceivable that he could get into his utility belt and use that laser weapon he was talking about?
Yeah, and which is a whole lot cooler. And then he doesn't have to have the thing with he loses his glove and
broke a nail and talk about it.
Yeah.
Wow, way to go, Bat Wimp!
I know, jeez. Batman doesn't talk about breaking an arm or a neck. I think he broke his back. He didn't talk about his back as much as a nail. So, for crying out loud.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Oh, God.
There is a cool house ad for Aquaman.
Yeah, it's a glorious cover.
I think by Nick Cardy.
Yeah. Let's see. Triton the Terrible.
Yeah.
As each click of the clock signals the Sea King's doom. Man.
Yeah.
Time is running out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, our backup story in this issue, I'm sure Jeff just loved, is it's an elongated man story, which we firmly established what a big fan of his you are.
Yeah.
And the story is called London Caper of the Rockers and Mods, written by Gardner Fox, with art penciled and inked by Murphy Anderson, which is leagues above the Carmine Infantino one in the other issue we talked about.
Yeah, it's kind of it's better. Well, the markers and rods were already kind of passe by this time. 67 was this game.
Yeah, like I kind of get what mods are, but I don't understand what the rockers.
Rockers wear black leather jackets. They have pompadours. They listen to
like greasers.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. There's actually a huge fight that lasted for a couple of days in 1964, and the newspapers blew it up, and someone said, the kid's been fighting all this time anyway, so it's no big deal. But,
in England in the 60s, they also had maybe this is a little earlier, but they also had a group called the Teddy Boys.
That was before, and the Beatles were Teddy Boys.
Yeah. Well, John Lennon was.
Mm-hmm. The Teddy Boys, I think they all were, except for one of them who died. There was the fifth Beatle who died, but he's the one who gave him the Beatle haircut.
Well, his girlfriend
did,
yeah.
I can't think of his name, but
I can't remember. I don't know why I can't remember. Stuart Sutcliffe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was during the time. I think was that before Ringo when they still had Pete Best on drums.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. The Teddy Boys became the Rockers. The mods, there's soft mods who bought their mod clothes at the store, and the hard mods who made it up themselves. They dress really colorful and all that stuff. So when you think of England swings like a pendulum do, you're thinking of the mods.
Okay. Because I'm like, they wear these nice suits and stuff, but then they act like jerks or something.
Right.
I don't know.
The hard mods turn into skinheads towards the 70s.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Thank you, Wikipedia. But let's see. So, Elongated Man and his wife go to England to be to appear before Her Majesty the Queen, who is still
the Queen.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I mean, she's had a long reign.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Elongated Man looks at Big Ben and says, we got to be there in an hour. And, oh my God, Big Ben is running backwards. And then we see Big Ben and a girl in a miniskirt. So that said England back then.
Right.
That's another mod thing.
Mm.
So one thing his wife does, oh my gosh, she's got an awful hat. Okay, it looks like a...
Yeah,
okay.
it is bad. It definitely looks like something she picked up on the trip.
Mm-hmm. But she helps him change into his clothes, as crime-fighting costume, as Elongated Man. All right, Elongated Man goes up Big Ben, and someone's shooting air gun pellets at me, which would be painful.
Right.
And
those
it doesn't...
airsoft rifles, ooh.
No, you can kill someone with an air gun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the pellets are lead. They... 1,000 feet per second.
Okay.
So it's some of them pretty nice. You can definitely go hunting with them. People do. I don't know why they're doing that though. Why not a gun?
Because they're teenagers, I think, is the point.
And,
and in England, the general public cannot get guns.
Oh, that was in the 80s.
What?
That law happened in the 80s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There is a Sherlock Holmes story with an air gun, so the Return of Sherlock Holmes. So maybe that's
it could be a reference to that.
Yeah, it's just an odd thing. Why not rocks or something or bricks or something? I don't know.
I don't know. Jeff.
All right, so these guys are dressed weirdly, so they must be mods, and they're really cheeky.
Indeed.
Oh God, no, we're on our way. Ta ta, and stuff like that. You're off our wavelength. Oh God. So he fights them. He hits one of them in the eye with his ear.
Yeah.
And he hits another guy with his chin.
Yeah.
And then he kicks this other guy in the crotch and smashes his head against the ceiling.
That is great.
I think he's lifting him up into the
But
ceiling.
it totally looks like he's kneeing him in the groin.
Yeah.
Which I approve.
Hey, he does boot a guy in the butt, and that's great. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad Scooter's not there getting his butt kicked. But-
Yeah.
So, the mods get their butts kicked bad, and they explain that they're in a contest with the Rockers. And they're not going to tell them what to do, what they're doing. So, Elongated Man, being a genius, figures out they must be making the London Bridge fall up.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because what?
Yeah. Well, he's a genius, much smarter than you and I.
Oh, okay.
The Rockers, well, London Bridge is a drawbridge, and they got it going up, and they take their motorcycles and they drive over, which is what every teenage boy wants to do.
Right.
But only this, that really wouldn't work. So
Right.
it had to be instant death.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Instant if you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they know when you come off the London Bridge, you have to go down this certain road.
Mhm.
And so Elongated Man lies in wait for them and basically does he clotheslines them on their motorcycles, which is great.
Yeah, and it's not a bad. And they drive around and they boot him on both sides of the head, driving a motorcycle, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But he gets him back and he lifts two guys up and smacks them head first into the heads of the other two guys and then knocks them out. It's pretty cool. Goodness. So he gets to the Queen in time, and he's muttering under his breath, and his wife wonders, what's he talking about? So, and he gives this lame joke. A funny thing happened to me on the way to the theater, and she laughs dutifully. Boo! Excuse me. This is awful. It's better than the other one, but gosh, I don't know. This lame brain, and I mean, it's lighthearted, but not funny. It's could be interesting. I mean, you got these two subcultures that are fairly interesting, mods and rockers, but
yeah,
nothing's done with them except the barest top level of what they do.
Right. Which is typical of how pop culture-y kind of things or subcultures get treated in comics or any mass media, really, especially this time.
Yeah, although maybe there isn't anything to say about them. Maybe that's what you ought to do with them. But, it was better drawn. It's kind of, no. It blows. I'm sorry. But it was interesting, though. I'm glad I read them.
Okay.
So,
Comic Reflections is recorded in Portland, Oregon, and produced by Sean Roof. Until next time.
You'll see in the funny pages.
Star Wars, give me those Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars, don't let them end. Star Wars, those near and far wars, talking about Star Wars on a podcast.
I'm Ryan Daly, and welcome to...
And I'm the Irredeemable Shag.
Dude, what are you doing?
What?
Give Me Those Star Wars is my show.
Well, you're part of the Fire and Water Podcast Network, so it's really our show.
But if you show up on the promo, people will think you're the co-host.
I'm not?
No, the show will have rotating guests.
You just took that idea from my Justice League International podcast.
You took that idea from my Secret Origins podcast.
And you took that idea from Dead Bothan Spies.
That was my podcast.
Wait a minute. I sang the theme song with you.
So?
So, technically, I appear on every episode. I'm part of the foundation of this new Star Wars show.
That's true.
So, you want to take this from the top, or what?
I'm Ryan Daly. Join me and a galaxy of guest stars on Give Me Those... including the irredeemable Shag, whose voice you will technically hear on every episode, on Give Me Those Star Wars,
the official Star Wars show of the Fire and Water Podcast Network.
Available on iTunes and Stitcher and at fireandwaterpodcast.com.
Justice League International, Bwahaha Podcast, a new monthly show chronicling the adventures of the JLI era by Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis. We'll be going issue by issue in release order, tackling the core Justice League title, Justice League Europe, and the quarterly book. Along the way, we'll take time out for special episodes covering various spin-offs, cartoon appearances, the infamous TV pilot, and much more. So join me in an ever-changing roster of guest hosts as we celebrate your favorite JLI members, such as...
Martian Manhunter,
Batman,
Dr. Fate,
Black Canary,
Fire,
Ice,
Maxwell Lord,
Oberon,
Captain Marvel,
Rocket Red,
Captain Atom,
Mr. Miracle,
Guy Gardner,
Booster Gold,
Blue Beetle,
Nort,
and many, many more. Justice League International, Bwahaha Podcast, coming March 2016 as part of the Fire and Water Podcast Network. Want to make something of it?
Aquaman and Firestorm fighting crime together. Soak 'em down or burn 'em up. No one does it better. Whenever you find trouble, they'll always be there to catch them in a bubble or even torch their hair. They stand for truth and justice in sea, on land, and air. Firestorm and Aquaman, they make a super pair.
The Fire and Water Podcast, celebrating Aquaman, King of the Seven Seas, and Firestorm, the Nuclear Man.
Available weekly on Aquaman Shrine, Firestorm Fan, and on iTunes and Stitcher.
I'm one of your hosts, the Irredeemable Shag, here to talk about Firestorm. Along with me is my co-host Rob Kelly, here to talk about some guy that talks to fish.
Really? You're going to pull this crap during the promo? Bad enough I have to put up with your shenanigans every week, but...
Superman, Blue Beetle, Captain Marvel, Firestorm, the Crimson Avenger, Batman, Halo, Guy Gardner, the Sandman, Shadow Lass, Dollman, the Star-Spangled Kid, the Flash, the Phantom Stranger, Power Girl, Hawkman, Fury, the Challengers of the Unknown, Nightwing, the Whip, Johnny Thunder, the Suicide Squad, Deadman, the Spectre, Warlord, Amazing Man, Hour Man, Adam Strange, Dr. Occult, the Doom Patrol, Captain Comet, Creep, Green Lantern, Uncle Sam, the Guardian, Batgirl, Dr. Mid, Jonah Hex, Black Con, the Manhunter, the Guardians of the Floronic, Blue Devil, Dr. Fate, the Legion of Super, the Secret Origins Podcast, covering every issue of DC's Secret Origins comic from the 1980s. Hosted by Ryan Daly and a multitude of guests from the podcast and blogging community. Secret Origins Podcast. Find it on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at fireandwaterpodcast.com.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Chris. What's up?
I just got back from the comic store.
What'd you get?
Some really good books. They had the latest issues of Saga and Batman, and I got the latest collection of Walking Dead.
That's cool. I just got some in the mail, too. I got the latest collections of Adventures into the Unknown, The Spirit, and Young Romance.
I've never heard of any of those.
Oh, they're all from the Golden Age.
The Golden Age?
You've heard of the Golden Age of comics, right?
Well, of course, but I've just never read that much from it.
Oh, you're missing out. There's some great material here. And nowadays, they're really reprinting a lot of it.
I tried it once or twice, but I never got into it.
Oh, you should really try again, man. There are some amazing writers working in that era. Bill Finger, Gardner Fox, Joe Simon, and some of the best artists to ever work in the industry. Jack Kirby, Will Eisner, Joe Kubert. And it wasn't just about the superheroes then. They produced science fiction books, crime, romance, humor, all sorts of genres.
Wow, you really love that stuff. You should do a podcast about it.
You know, you're right. I should do a podcast, and you should do it with me. We can call it Comics in the Golden Age.
And we could create a website for it, comicsinthegoldenage.com.
And we could also publish episodes on iTunes and Stitcher, and make a fan page to follow over on Facebook.
Heck, we could even talk about the golden age of the modern age, also known as 90s Image Comics.
No. No, Chris. No.
So join us for the Comics in the Golden Age podcast, available through iTunes and Stitcher, and visit us on Facebook or at comicsinthegoldenage.com.